Hi guys, this is Dale with the insurance. Today we're going to talk about a coverage that is, um, it's pretty popular, but it's gained popularity more recently, right? The title of the article is "Pay per Mile Car Insurance." How does it work, right? So nowadays with kind of car sharing, your Ubers, your Lyfts, a lot of people find themselves not driving, and even those that own cars aren't driving as much, right? Um, if this is you, then pay per mile car insurance could be right up your alley. Um, as the name suggests, it you literally your insurance is by the mile, basically. You pay by the mile. The only thing that the caveat is that there is a base rate, right? So you have a base rate, and then on top of that base rate, you pay kind of a few cents per mile, and you pay that either monthly or annually, but that is essentially the premium for PPM, pay per mile insurance. Um, Now the miles driven, it's not an estimate, right? It's very precise, and it's precise because carriers actually implant or install a device into your vehicle that measures kind of the miles driven. Um, and as you can imagine, for the right person, this can signal a lot of savings, right? Because you think about traditional insurance and how rates are created with carriers. Carriers use, I mean, it's a lot of data, but they use a lot of generalizations to base that rate off of, right? So if one of those estimates is how many miles you're driving, right? So typical driver historically or traditionally has driven about 10 to 12,000 miles a year. If you don't fall into that bucket, then there's a good chance that you may, and you have traditional insurance, there's a good chance you may be overpaying, right? So if you and most people want to literally be priced off their specific driving habits and how often they drive their car. This gets you closer to that sort of ideal, right? Um, so if you are not driving, if you're not running up the mileage every year, in terms of driving, this could be a viable option for you. Another thing to note is that much like traditional insurance, with pay per mile insurance, you can get all the bells and whistles in terms of coverage. You can add comprehensive, you can add collision, you can add roadside assistance, glass coverage, everything that you could with kind of a traditional um, car insurance policy. So just remember that as you kind of look at the pricing, you've got the base rate, which is it's constructed very similarly to how carriers build up your a base rate for a traditional policy. They look at a mix of factors, whether it be um, personal, car related, or having nothing to do with either of those. So they look at kind of your age, your gender, the value of your car model. They look at the neighborhood in which the car will be parked or garaged, and several other factors. So that will stay the same. What will be different is obviously the preciseness of how much you drive. So that's where essentially your savings could be. Um, so next time, this is once again, next time you are taking your car insurance to market, and you're sitting back and you think about it, and you're not driving as often as you used to, maybe you're taking more Ubers, maybe you're taking more public transportation, why don't you go ahead and ask for a pay per mile option? It's way more prevalent now, so a lot of the carriers are able to provide you with that option or that quote. Go ahead, ask for it. It may be the best option for you. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll talk to you next week.